sliding doors are similar to the doors of the anti-DAOs. I think it is also simpler. For example, I can do a very simple example using the door of S2ENGINE pack or anti-DAOs. Okay, in anti-DAOs we have doors that has a almost complex hierarchy. Okay, the first object of the hierarchy is a switch. That is the switch that receives the action event and execute the animation. This door is composed by two objects. Okay, one is the door panel and one is the door frame. The door frame has a small hierarchy, has two child nodes. When I execute the animation of the switch, the door pivot is animated. I cannot make this visible, but I can try here. Door frame, pivot door. Okay, this is the model we have created for the door frame. This model has the frame that is a mesh, and pivot door is a node that is animated for opening and closing the door. This is one model. We have imported this model and its animations, close and open. The second model is this, that is the door panel. We have separated these two objects because the door panel is must be a rigid body, because it must have a collision. In this way, when the player open and close the door, it can collide with the door. Okay, so this is a rigid body. Okay, rigid body that has a collision box. Okay, now the door panel is then attached to the door frame. We have to take care that the door pivot have to the same position of the animated pivot. So then now we can attach the door panel to the door frame. When we attach the door panel to the door frame and we animate the switch, the door panel is, sorry, it seems not working. Yes, because I have to put the door rigid body into below the animated node of the door frame. In this way, when I send the action, the open event to the door frame that contains the door panel attached to the animated node of the door frame, the door panel is also animated, and is animated also the box of the collision box of the rigid body. Take in mind that the door isn't a standard rigid body, but is a rigid body that is marked as kinematic. You have to mark as kinematic all rigid bodies that collide but aren't physically simulated. They are externally animated and have the property of the collision, but they cannot fall down because they are not really physically simulated. Okay, if you want object like door panels or other kind of this object, you have to set them as a kinematic. If for example have a rigid body that must be animated into a cutscene, you have to set it as a kinematic. Okay, now you want to create a sliding door. You have two possibilities to create a sliding door. You can do as I do for the door frame. In other words, you can create a door frame into your modeling package, like Blender, like Maya or 3D Studio Max or others, and you can create this structure, frame and pivot, and then animate the pivot instead of with the rotation, with the translation in a translation from left to right, from top to down, okay, top to bottom, and something like this, and then follow the same procedure I have followed. This is one way. Another way could be to do this directly into Game Machine. Into Game Machine you can make you can build a game machine that when receiving an event translates an object up, down, or bottom, top, etc. This second way is is a little more complex by a programming point of view, but is more simple by a modeling point of view, because you need only simple static mesh, single meshes to make something like this. I could try just for an example. We imagine to have a something like this, mesh object, okay, and imagine we have a door panel like this that we now detach from the switch hierarchy. We have to detach the rigid body from the switch. Okay. Imagine we want to translate this from. Of course, we have had when making door panels. I suggest to create always rigid bodies. Okay. Kinematic rigid bodies, because they can collide with the player, mainly for this. Okay, for this reason. Okay, imagine we want now to translate this door when it receives the action message. Okay, we can do this creating a new game machine. After doing this, I will say you another thing I'm preparing for the next update. Okay, I will explain this tomorrow in the weekly report. I will explain a new feature I am working on that will be useful just for doing this, for animating objects without importing animations, okay, and without using cutscenes. Okay, but I explain this next tomorrow in the weekly report. Okay, now we create a new game machine. For example, we can call this door logic. Okay, I insert this for into the rigid body, and now we make our game machine. For example, the first state, for example, could be closed. Okay, I want to make it open when it receives the action event. Okay, we can call it opened. Opening. Okay, when it receives the action message, it passes to opening state. What to do the opening state? Opening state, translate, simply translate the rigid body following frame time object. This is not okay. We can try. We can just try start opening. Okay. We can translate this for 5 seconds in this direction with the speed of 5. No, with the speed of for 1 second. Okay. Not frame time. Okay. Okay, so we can make this. Okay. Can try to do this. Okay, too much. Okay. Okay. So you can do this and then opening after opened after 1 second. This state finished and goes to the opened state. And transition finished and goes to opened state. Okay. When it is in opened state and receive again the action message, it can go to closing state, to a closing state, okay, and into the closing state we repeat the same action, sorry, but this time with a negative speed. Okay. Closing, add transition. When it finished, it passes to closed state. Okay, in this way this should work. We have to delete the start global transition and add start global transition here. Okay. Okay, now if I send an action to the rigid body, it opens. When I resend the action, it closes. Open and close. Now, if I try the game, I cannot interact. No. Why I cannot interact? I have to set maybe affect raycast selectable. I have to check it as selectable. This should work. No, it does the work. Oh, okay. It seems not working too much well. Closed, opening. It seems not working too much with the Easy Game Pack player. Action send. Events actions. These okay, we can so we can use instead this. I think this could be the same. Okay, we can use the door frame. No, we can use an event switch. Switches, an event switch that can be useful for sending the action event to the rigid body we have done. So for example I can set the model for this switch door as the door frame. Okay, the model is here, door frame. Door frame 1? No. Okay, door frame. This is model is this. Okay, door frame. Now I put the door frame here. Okay, just as an example. Okay, now I can do a simple thing. I can send using the event switch. I can send an action event to the rigid body. Okay, and I can send an action also when close event action. Okay, in this way this should work. Okay, we can try. If I send an action event to the switch, it send the action to the rigid body, and this should work. Okay, this should work. Now we can try to see if this work with the Easy Game Pack. Okay, it seems to work with Easy Game Pack. You have to click on. You can also use a switch for opening the door. For example, if another switch, for example, another event switch for making doors opening with some sort of button. Okay, for example, if I want to create a button for the door, I could use another thing I want to do is to try to make this inside the event switch I have created. Okay, I can put this into the hierarchy of the event switch. So if I move the event switch, I can move also the door panel. Okay, now if I try to open the door, but okay, I also can do another thing. And if I try to put no, okay, this is can be done here. Okay, I have to uncheck selectable. I can try. Okay, you have to uncheck selectable. Okay, so we can create door panels in this way. This is another way for creating door panels. Another thing I want to check. Allora, okay, the translate action should work into the local space of the object. So if I put the door inside another object in the hierarchy of another object, I think that if we rotate the switch, the animation should still work. We can try. Yes, it works because the door is translated, is moved into its local space. So if the door is linked to another object, the translation follows the orientation of the parent object. So in this way I can rotate the door as I want. It will be translated always in the direction of the direction of the parent object. Okay. Another thing we can do is creating a button, and pressing the button the door will open. Before showing this, I can preview you that in the next update I will insert the possibility to create animations inside S2ENGINE. Simple animations. For example, in the case of the door, you can create, in the case of the door panel, the sliding door, you can create an animation for opening and closing the door using Game Machine. but also using another kind of object that I will show you tomorrow. And this should simplify and should be better than simply translating the door, because you could be able to use curves for animating the door and smoothing the movement. Okay, so I will explain this better tomorrow. Now, if we want to, for example, create a button for making the door sliding, we can use another event switch, for example, another event switch, and we can use an object, for example, common. For example, we can use light switch, electric panel, light switch. We can use, for example, the light switch. Okay, we can we now reset the animation, the rotation of this. Okay, we can for example use the light switch for simulating a button that open the door. Okay. This is an event switch. Okay, now we can set the door panel as the door panel. I have to select it from here, door panel. Okay, for opening and for closing. Open event action, close event action. We remove them from the door frame. Okay, so only if you click on the light switch, only in that way, in that case, the door opens. Okay, action. Okay. Now, if I try to open the door using the door frame, it does open. But if I use the switch, it is just like a button for opening and closing the door. Okay. And of course the player will collide with the door panel. Okay. Of course I can attach the button to the door frame in order to create a unique object that I can move all around the scene. Okay. Okay, this is a way to do this. Another way is to create the animation directly inside your modeling package, your modeling tool.